In this video, we'll look at how far the UK has fallen because it is absolutely insane to see. And it's from the highest levels of government, a planned destruction, probably to institute a global world order. The Bible tells us that will happen, and tyrants all throughout history have done that, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. All hope is not lost. We'll pray for them, and they really need to fight back against what is going on there. And a lot of it is connected to this Islamic problem that they are allowing to take over their government and to destroy the history and the freedom that was always associated with Europe in the past. So we're seeing this with this here, but let's take a little look about how this goes further with the digital ID and how it's, it's going to be used to control their money, and it's going to make life so much easier. Let's take a listen.
Here in India, I think it's 1 billion people have digital ID. It's been taken up on a voluntary basis in huge numbers. Not least because it means that you can access your own money, make payments so much more easily than is available with others. So I think now we need to go out and make that case of the huge benefits that this will bring. There needs to be a national debate about it, and I think that the more people see the benefits that come with this, the more, as has happened in other countries, people say that will make my life easier, and therefore I want to get on with it.
0%. You can just tell how just the language that he's using to try to institute this insanity, this tyranny, this authoritarianism beyond like anything the world has seen in recent times. And this guy is a WF puppet, like it says here in the title. He loves Davos. He goes to the WEF. He says he wants to institute a global world order. He wants the UK to be a part of it and to access your money easier. I mean, how is it hard? Are people saying they're having a hard time swiping their debit card or using cash at places? Instead, now you're going to have to file more things with the government. Yeah, everything with the government is just so easy. And you're going to have to go and file this digital thing. How much you're going to have to update it? What information are you going to do easier? No, that's a complete lie. The UK has fallen in many ways, many ways. We're seeing it with the Islam thing, attack on everything Christian in the nation, attack on freedom of speech, multiple people being arrested. The UK now has the highest amount of arrests of people speaking of arrest for people saying things online. Free speech arrests, over 12,000 in the UK on the last statistic that I saw. We can see here, this is a police vehicle there, and the flags. I mean, yeah, that's a great use of tax dollars, isn't it? A planned destruction. That's exactly what this guy, Keir Starmer, is trying to do, is a planned destruction of the UK and the morals and the beliefs and the freedoms that they had in the past, to initiate their global order of absolute control, where him and his buddies at the WEF have complete control. And when they do, they will give their power, the 10 kingdoms, to the Antichrist, who will rule it, and that they'll all view as the greatest leader of all time. The biblical narrative of a one world government is being set up right before our eyes, where you can't buy or sell without this digital ID. How else would they institute it? And then what are they marching in the streets? Interesting when you think about, what does the Bible say? The Bible says that Christians in the last days will be beheaded for their faith in the Lord Jesus. What's one group of people on the earth who's known for beheading people who oppose their belief systems? These people right here marching in the streets, the same people who are taking over every nation around the world. They already have their Islamic nations, which are terrible. No one goes and visits there. I mean, what's the tourism like in Pakistan and Iran and Afghanistan? No one goes to these nations. And then they're coming here and instituting their insane ideas. And people like Keir Starmer says, if you don't like that, you can just leave.
When I became leader, I said I would turn Labour around and give it back to the British people. If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
So you can't speak freely, you can't use your money freely, you can't go and just profess your Christian faith. Meanwhile, all these other religions are marching through the streets and going to schools and changing ideologies. Why would anybody want to live there? If I was there, I would do everything I could to resist this absolute tyranny takeover. And if it got to the point where it is getting to now, where the resisting isn't even worth it, because if you even speak your mind freely online, you're arrested, 100% leave. I mean, they're going to, one day they'll see the fruit that they've created by allowing a demonic fallen angel religion such as Islam to take over their nation, which we'll see more of here in just a moment. And Charlie Kirk did a good job here explaining the differences of how the Islamic mindset is just not compatible with the Western freedom Christian mindset that our nations are supposed to be governed by.
major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim majority country, most Muslim majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is, I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality of life?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion, from whether people want to live there, prior to the native-born fertility rates.
Again, people watching this will say is your criticism of the religion itself or not Muslim people? Because there are British Muslims who have been born here.
You don't have to caveat it all the time. I know you guys have to because you're British and all that. A culture ceases to exist when we don't have unified language. When you cannot talk to your neighbor. I'm not discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedanism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
Yeah, and you know what, just on a passing point on that, it's most of the time, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even multicultural, because there was an example there was a school a few months ago during Easter which cancelled Easter celebrations out of respect for other faiths. So it's not as if the word multicultural and multi-diverse doesn't include Christianity.
No, and again, this is the red-green axis, and Britain is at the forefront of this. You have the Marxists that have infiltrated your government and the Islamists that are coming to your country. And when they combine together, they both agree on one thing. They have huge disagreements on a lot. They hate the West, and they want to see it broken.
Okay,
that's absolutely correct. And it's not a multicultural thing because you don't see Christianity promoted and free speech promoted. And these ideologies, what it is an Islamic takeover, allowing Islam to be the ruling force in the nation, which is exactly what the Quran teaches. And again, I've said it a lot and I will continue to say it until people who are so blind have their minds open to this truth. The Quran has over 100 verses that command violence against non-believers. You're either supposed, according to the Quran, 100%, this is what it teaches. You're either supposed to, Muslims are supposed to either commit acts of violence against non-Muslims, to kill non-Muslims, to cut off their hands and feet, or to crucify them. That's Quran 533, or to make them pay a tax in the land. So you're either going to be crucified, your hands and your feet cut off, killed, attacked violently. The women are viewed as sex slaves in every nation that they go into, unless they're following Islam. Then they're just a slave of the man who takes them over as their wife with no choice on their part anyway. And these are the 100% commands of the Quran. Why would anybody institute that and allow people who believe that into their country? And they are here to take over. That's their absolute plan. And here it is in their own words.
It's a Christian country. It's a Christian country. Yes, it is. This is a Christian country.
You're jealous that we're taking over?
You're not taking over. Why are you taking over? How are you taking over?
Mate, we've got it, mate. We've got it.
You've got it. Is that what you think? You haven't got it. But you've got people scared. You don't have us scared. No. You think you can take over towns and tell us that it's your country? You've taken over. Not for long. See this cross? This will prevail.
Cross will prevail. They are trying to take over, and they will not. And if they are part of the end times forces of evil that are used to institute the Antichrist system, well, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Like I said, what the beheading verse that Revelation tells us, and just the opposing forces that you must bow down and worship the image of the beast. And how are they going to institute this forceful army? Well, as we can see, that's exactly how they are. That's how these believers and these followers of the Quran are. They view themselves as militants, and they're all the men are perverts, really, because if they go and they die in an act of defending Allah and defending the Quran, they view it as a great victory, because then they get to heaven and they get 77 virgins. I mean, that's a perverted mindset, and that should be well known, that all of these Muslim men walking around think if they die for the cause of Islam, they're going to go to heaven and get all of these virgins. And then how old are these virgins? I'd like to know, because Muhammad is married a 9-year-old. And a lot of these people in these different nations around the world, just like Iraq, we just saw, banned the proposal of a law that would oppose marrying little girls up to 9 years old. And they opposed that rule so that they can continue to marry kids, little girls, to the age of 9 in Iraq. That's the mindset of these people. And it's insane that they're being allowed into these countries and cheered, especially even by these liberal people around the world. They're cheering them, like in New York. They're cheering this Zanhani guy or whatever his name is. I can't even remember his name right now, but they're cheering him into government, and he is completely violently opposed every liberal mindset that they believe in. So this is crazy, and we're seeing this attack. And again, these militant men. And well, let's just take a look at how the UK police respond to either these Muslims who believe in violence against the population and this woman who says it's a Christian nation and she doesn't want to hear about it.
We're in England. It's a Christian country. I don't want to hear anything about the Quran. Oh, Christian shit.
And those angels apportioning each one. Indeed, what you are promised is true. And indeed,
arrested. This is not the only time this happened. This happens a lot. People speaking online about this, and again, like I mentioned, being arrested for speaking against this. Multiple Christians being arrested. They're trying to propose a law now where in the UK, where Christians who preach on the street, pray for people, lay on hands for prayer, even for people who ask for it, can face up to 2 years in prison. The UK is falling. They need to resist this or get out before the fruit of Islam completely takes over. And just like we see it in every Muslim majority nation, no one's trying to travel to Afghanistan or Iran or Pakistan. And it's because it's an Islamic nation. If it wasn't, then it would be like a kind of cool desert destination for people to go to. But no one's going to Muslim majority nations because of why? Because of Islam. That's the reason why. Here's Keir, WEF, pushing his globalization, the destruction of the UK, to institute their own ways, and he will see this was a terrible mistake when the fruit of Islam is grows more in his country.
Indeed, it is also a time, I think, where all of us are able to celebrate the incredible contribution that Muslims have made to our country. We see it in business, we see it in culture, we see a better Britain. One of the things that is coming up over and over again is Islamophobia. And, well, you can see the stats, you can see the numbers rising, particularly since October the 7th. Although we shouldn't fall into the trap of thinking that before October the 7th, this was all heading in the right direction. It's been far too high for far too long. Clearly, we need to just say over and over again, Islamophobia is intolerable. It can never, ever be justified. And we have to continue with a zero tolerance approach. And I think there's more we can do in government. There's certainly stuff online, which I think needs tackling much more robustly than it is at the moment.
I'm hoping, Keir, your experience as a prosecutor means you'll be thinking about the strategy we can use.
And this Muslim guy here, I'm hoping, and he's in government as well, I'm really hoping with your experience as a prosecutor that we can use more of your history as a prosecutor to prosecute these people online criticizing Islam. Meanwhile, on the inside, this guy is just laughing that the demons of Islam are just laughing that when Islam is the majority, Keir will be thrown in prison too, or beheaded or crucified and his hands cut off, or he'll have to pay a Muslim tax because that's what the Quran teaches. Insane that they don't know. They don't even know what they're championing and what they're trying to allow. They just think because these people have a darker skin and they're from a different country and they say it's a religion when it's a demonic death cult that they should be promoting it. And it's just insane that we're seeing this.
To make sure we take action against those who break the law.
There's a massive impact on people and their lives, their feeling about being able to walk around their own, communities, their streets, their places.
No one's attacking the Muslims. The Muslims are attacking others. There's women being attacked, children being attacked, just like we saw the Christians are being attacked. They're blasting their Muslim call to prayer over the speakers 5 times a day, early in the morning, at night. I mean, this is how these people are. This is how it is. Here's more evidence. The UK is falling. This is what's happening in the schools in this area of the world, in the UK.
GB News can exclusively reveal that a Welsh primary school has been slammed after worried parents were branded racist for raising concerns about an Islam lesson. Let me explain. Seaview Primary School in Swansea recently brought in a representative from a local mosque to teach the school children about Islam. But parents complained that Christian denominations don't get the same representation in their religious education lessons. Apparently, parents were not informed about the visits beforehand, and then when some objected to the lessons, they were apparently made to feel as though they were racist. Children were being marked down on things like misspelling mosque or Quran. But there is a bit more to this. There is even the claim that one of the children said, I'm Christian, I don't pray to Allah, and that the person who came in to that school to give that talk and to be with the children said that by the time you hit year 6, you will all be Muslim.
That's their plan. That's what the Quran teaches. Absolute takeover. It's not a religion of just like, oh, we're here to do our own thing and we let everyone do their own thing. Again, it's commanded that they commit violence against non-believers. Here we see there's over 500 mosques in London, but they choose to pray on the grounds of the Westminster Abbey, the most sacred site in the Anglican Church. They do this all the time. And again, if Christians were going and doing this at mosque, what do you think would happen from what we've been seeing from the videos here? 100% they would be arrested. But when they do it, for some reason, they're just allowed to do whatever they want. Now, here we see the mayor of London, which is the guy with Keir in the other video, talking about how Muslims need more housing because, you know, they should be helping them and giving them stuff. And that's the same thing we're seeing with the migrant stuff. They're allowing them in, putting them up in hotels, offering yoga, giving them money. Same thing in the United States as well. And this is spreading around the world. We're seeing a takeover in Dearborn, Michigan. It's been happening for a long time. It's happening in Canada, as we'll see in just a moment. So let's take a listen to what this guy has to say.
The other big issue faced in London, is particularly, London is of Islamic faith, is the issue of housing. And so we need to build far more homes in our city because, often people from minority communities want to live near a mosque, near halal food, near places where there are other people like them. So they for a variety of obvious reasons. And they're priced out.
If they care so much about that stuff, why don't they go back to Iran or Pakistan and live there? Well, because those nations are terrible and no one wants to be there. Why? Because it's a Muslim nation.
Because there's not enough housing. So we're going to build at least 40,000 council homes, at least 6,000 rent control homes. And the final thing to say in relation to Londoners who are Muslim is, look.
Yeah. How insane is that? I mean, and then again, these people, well, I mean, he's a Muslim, so he gets it. They're just there to take over, and everybody in the path is just, they're nothing. They're not even viewed as people. That's their absolute plan. Again, we're seeing this move into Canada or into America. We're seeing it move into all these nations around the world, nations who actually fight back and stand up against this type of thing, like Poland, as we can see. They're having no suicide bombings. Their crime rates are not skyrocketing. And that's what we're seeing in the UK, which is why they're also trying to institute a 2-tier judgment system where migrants are not judged under the same laws and the same penalties as the people who were born in the UK, because they don't understand, I guess. Well, no, it's because they're committing so many crimes that they don't want to be putting them all in prison. And again, they're letting them off big time. They're locking up people who criticize this stuff, and they're letting these migrant offenders, these Muslim offenders, off on very minimal charges, if any at all. Here we see it happening in Canada. Here's the mindset. Here's what these people believe.
Defeating the US, defeating Israel means defeating Canada. This settlement will exist on the basis of the indigenous people and the black people.
Imagine allowing these people in your country to speak in a public square in the city, and they say, we need to defeat the US, we need to defeat Israel, and we need to defeat Canada. Saying this, I believe this is in Canada. It might even be in the UK. They're saying they want to take over, and people are just promoting them and saying, we'd love to have them here. How insane is this?
Defeating Israel means defeating this colonial institution.
That's what they believe, and here's more of their plan on their takeover in Canada, and this is absolutely happening.
Like to see Sharia law in Canada replace Canadian law?
At some point it will, because we have families, we are making babies. You're not. Your population is going down the slump, right? And by 2060, according to Pew Research Institute, your research, by 2060, Muslims will be the biggest religious group the world over. What are you going to do then?
Actually,
are you going to oppose Sharia even then?
You do want a Muslim majority nation in the West End, correct?
Just like you had a Western majority nation in the land of Native Americans, one day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada. Right in your face.
That's their plan. They openly say it. They don't even hide it. And people who are completely blind, like those in like Zorhan and the people who support him in New York, just clap him into power. And his plan and his desire is complete takeover and wiping out everybody, even to the point of death or making them pay taxes if you oppose Islam. This has to be opposed worldwide. Jesus is the absolute truth. Christianity is the truth. So obvious that Muhammad demonically copied the religion and the beliefs of Judaism at the time and Christianity at the time and created the demonic fallen angel religion of Islam. The fruit of it, Jesus says, look at their fruit. And what are they doing? We can look at the fruit of Islam and see exactly what they are. This has to be opposed worldwide. The UK is falling. They need to stand up. Let's protect our nations and pray for God's wisdom, his strength, for him to confuse the plans of the enemy and for him to show us how to spread Christianity around the world and wake up all of these people who are deceived and asleep in the lies of Islam.